Anthony Weiner is back, or at least he's hoping to be. The once disgraced Queens congressman breaking his media silence to the Times today. Andrew, what did he say?
You know, Rich, today's interview with the Weiner and his wife, former Hillary Clinton aide Huma Abedin, was done to help position Weiner for a return to public life, but it did confirm some of the rumors we've heard about his interest in the New York City mayoral race. He did confirm that he is considering that run. He confirmed that he did spend $100,000 on polling and research. That polling sort of asked folks, would you be willing to give him another chance? And the answer that he got back for the most part was yes, but it depends on how you deal with it and is it behind you. We also got some quotes from Weiner in the article speaking to that point. It reached this point, he said, where I just sat down with him and said, listen, I don't want to lie. I just didn't want to lie to her anymore. He went on to say, I have a choppy memory of it. She was devastated. She immediately said, well, you got to stop lying to everyone else too. Huma went on to say, you've got to tell everyone the truth. Telling me doesn't help any. And then here what I thought was the best quote from Weiner. It was brutal, he said. It was completely out of control. There was the crime, there was the cover-up, there was the harm I had done to her, and there's no one who deserved this less than Huma. That's really the bottom line. No one deserved to have a dope like me do that less than she did. Just a reminder, we know about the pictures and all of that on Twitter, but keep in mind, this was a scandal for about 2 weeks or a little bit more, and he was the center of the political universe. He tweeted several women, not just one, several women, several photos, lots of suggestive conversations online. He denied initially that the tweets were his. He did a series of interviews where he suggested that a conspiracy was done by Republicans to all set him up. So it wasn't just the photos.
He denied it was even him.
That's right. And he still has $4.5 million in cash on hand for a mayoral run, which it's use it or lose it in this electoral cycle, which begs the question, is he seriously thinking about running for mayor in this cycle? Well, or is he just doing this so he doesn't...
I'll get to the dollars with Dominic, but Jeannie, the numbers. You put a poll in the field here, where you spend $100,000 on it, and you do the interview, usually the math says you're planning something, right? A little curious he waited to this point. I mean, we're now mid-April almost. If he was going to do it, don't you think he would have done this earlier?
Yeah, you know, I would think he would have done it earlier, and I'm curious about the polling itself, because I think the biggest part of this story is the pictures. You know, I think Americans, New Yorkers, everybody's very forgiving. You know, you have a personal transgression, you've done something, you know, obviously he was in public office, so it made it public, but people are very forgiving, and I understand when they're polled, people say, yes, we're willing to forgive you, you get another shot.
What do you think hurts him the most? The photos, the pregnant wife?
The photos. Because when you're reminded of those photos, which gets back to the polling, did they do any focus groups in which you showed people the photos? Because I have to say, when I first heard about this, you know, you think, oh, you know, he can come back. Of course he can come back. Then everybody's flashing these photos, and it makes you take another look. So, you know, I do think it is probably a little too early for him. He certainly has a money incentive, though, to run. Dominic,
John Liu, who should not be, you know, throwing stones by himself, but anyway, Mr. Liu, also a mayoral candidate, said, among other things, if Anthony wants to be mayor, he should run. Liu went on to say, I guess I just suggest he gets rid of his phone and close down his tweeting account. Just stop tweeting. That's a taste. If he runs for mayor, please, those photos are going to be like free advertising for the candidates. Of course it's going to come up.
If he runs for mayor, listen, I've known Weiner for about 20 years. All of that focus group and polling, that's nonsense. That was just to set up officially what he wants to do. Weiner wants to be mayor, and let me tell you something, Richard, and I've moderated a debate with him. In a mayoral debate, he will be leaps and bounds ahead of the other candidates.
Real quick, Dominic, the school of thought is you got to get one race out of the way,
right?
And then you run for what you want. Why do you run for like public advocate? Because he's not going to win this time, right?
If they will eat him alive if he runs for mayor. He can be elected public advocate or controller, and then he can be the mayor of New York.
Public advocate or controller.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter what he wants.
Yeah. He could be controller, absolutely.
He could be controller, and then down the road, he could actually be mayor.
And
he could win.
Watch out for Huma at some point down the road, too.
You think people will forgive him already?
Yeah,
I think it's
he's already
soon.
forgiven.
I think most people will, because it's a sin of the flesh, and it wasn't that big a deal. It wasn't even a sin of the flesh. It was a sin of the Twitter camera.
Assuming that not one of these women comes out and there's something else there. If that happens, he's done.
See, I think the pregnant wife, who he definitely overachieved to get, right, to begin with, the pregnant wife thing is something that a lot of people say, wait a minute, this guy not only did this, what does that say about judgment? Two, Right, I mean, the idiot that
But
he
you
would
know
do
what?
this.
You know
And then the second thing is, he lied through his teeth to everybody and had the nerve to say that the Republicans had a cabal to get him when he was doing this, which is just beyond
But
cowardly.
the public knows that most politicians lie quite frequently.
And let's be honest, if his wife has forgiven him for the other stuff, who are we to hold it against him?
I don't think I can vote for him with that judgment. It has nothing to do about sex and the morality and all that stuff. It's just that to do something that stupid, it says a lot about the person. But anyway, we take a quick break here. When we come back talking about politicians behaving badly, we will head up to Albany. Enough said.